Hey everybody, it's Just Another Gamer. We are here with some Drug Dealer Simulator 2, and I've noticed that there aren't a lot of good tutorials or tips and tricks videos for Drug Dealer Simulator. It's kind of a weird gray area. I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's the algorithm or what it is. So we're going to give you some pretty awesome, relatively beginner slash not really beginner, just a bunch of awesome tips that will help you in your playthrough. They help me, and if I would have known them, I probably would have done a lot better in my first few playthroughs, and I really hope you get something out of it. So let's dive right into it. Okay, for our first tip, we will be discussing customers and reputation. So, as you're walking around the street of this awesome island, streets and or paths, or roads, whatever you want to call it, because there's a lot more paths here, you'll see people flailing their arms trying to get your attention. These right here are potential customers slash victims, whatever you want to classify them as. If you go up to them and you give them some amphetamines, so we will throw him a little bit of a free sample, with the hope that he'll get hooked for life and be a returning customer. Same with this man right here. So the things they could be asking for can vary from whatever type of substance you're selling at the time. It could be, and it also can be ones that you aren't producing or selling, things they just want, trying to open up a new kind of market in the area. So definitely, when you walk around, throw these guys a little free samples. Always good to have a couple extra bags, you know, of free samples for people, because it gives you reputation, and reputation's huge for getting more employees, getting more distributors, being able to have a wider, more open customer base, you know. So definitely always be willing to give out free samples. We're dealing in the big business of addiction, boys. So you know, get with the program. That's horrible. Okay, on to our nenext tip. Okay, so our next tip has to do with packaging. This is a huge thing that I don't know why it took me so long to realize this. It saves me so much time. So back before I knew this, I would go through every one of these orders and do 7 grams, 3 grams, 4, 7, 3. I would do each individual pack, and then I would have just a chunk of, you know, packs of sub inventory. Now I can just go in here. I can select the substance that I want, and you do 1 gram, and you do quantity. I don't know. Let's just do 40. I usually do sets of 40. So you do it in 40, and then you bag it up. And then you have, where'd it go? Right down here. You have 40 bags of 1 grams. So you have 40 baggies of 1 gram each, which in real life this would be super annoying. This would be horrible. But in the game, it's awesome because all I have to do is go, sorry about the mess here. It's a bit, you know, we use every inch we get. So now I can just go up to a customer. Is there any customers out here? No, there's a blue orb though. Okay, well, I guess forget about the blue orb. Very weird. So now you can just go to a customer and you can just literally, you want to call it, just give them the exact amount they need. Then you don't have to sit there and sort out each, you know, remember this, like 5 people need 7, 3 people need 2, 4 people need 1. You literally just customize it to your own liking. You have 1 gram bags, and yeah, everyone gets what they want, and it saves so much time. It's incredibly amazing. So yeah, way faster than sorting each individual bag, and it saves so much time. Awesome tip. Wish I would have known it. Okay, on to our next one. Well, I just want to give a super quick example of what I was saying earlier. So this person wants 2 amphetamines. You drag this over. You go to 2. Big bada boom. This person wants 3 marijuana. Way to call it marijuana, weed. Bam. Super easy. Builds reputation, and also you don't spend 5 minutes trying to figure out what baggie has the exact amount you have in it. Okay, now on to our next tip. Okay, so our next tip is mainly just kind of time management. So when you're producing things like amphetamines, you have 2 different compounds that you need. You need amphetamine salt, and then you do it into the amphetamines. So when you're making it in kind of bulk, I know there's better ways to make it, more refined ways to make it, less waste, but it gives you a timer until all 33 substances are done cooking. So this is 15 minutes. Plants over there, I think some of them are like 45, I can't remember exactly. But when you're out there, you know, doing your thing, hustling, getting packages to distributors, I don't know, fighting snakes in the bushes, you know, running around being a hooligan, doing donuts with your awesome water boats, whatever. Water boats? What? Okay, I don't know. So yeah, try to maybe even set a timer in real life, because these things, if these furnaces aren't burning, you're not making money. That's all it is. You know, you need to get your product, you need to get it manufactured and then bagged and then sold. That's really the goal. So definitely having timers, maybe even on your phone set, or I don't know, you can't really do a mental timer, I don't know, but making sure you're constantly, and even when you're like before you're about to leave, like after I collect this large sum of money, my god, look at that money. As soon as you collect your money, you have to go buy stuff, go get stuff done, go do all kinds of crazy stuff. Make sure to top them up, because it'll save you time in the long run, and that's just more product, more money, and more fun. So just always be constantly topping them up. Okay, on to our next tip. Another super quick tip that kind of goes along the other one is watching your distributors. If they run out, like right here, my buddies over here is running out of cannabis. If you are not vigilant, they will run out, and when they're not selling, you're not making profit. That's just the way it is. It's not good. You gotta fix it. It's literally on your shoulders. So make sure they have what they need and get them back out there on the streets, making that money. Okay, now on to our next tip. Sorry for the second example, or a little intro. Not intro, I guess. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, our next tip is what I best can describe as market manipulation. So if you go to the bosses of the territories, let's talk business, talk some business. You have this music is so loud. I'm gonna see if I can turn that down in post. Is that what it's called, post? I don't know. It sounds cringy when I said it, so we're just gonna take it back. So what you got here is, you can throw a little, a little nudge, do a little markets changing, So if we throw 2 things of amphetamines in there, the amphetamine demand goes up for plus 24, and reputation is like 600. Really even better way to make reputation. But yeah, so the demand goes up, so more people will be wanting it. It'll be easier to sell. So if you have a ton, in my case, a ton of cannabis, I have 22 large amounts, 2,200 grams of cannabis. So I can dump that much quicker as if I put those little quotation mark donations. I mean, I guess it's kind of free, but what you really want to call it. But you put those in there, and now you can go to your dealers and you can sell them, a ton of, not even sell them, just give them to sell a bunch of, they're already pretty full. But you can give them more product, and that stuff gets, sold even quicker. It's literally just market manipulation. You're kind of, well, I guess it's not even manipulation if it's a product that you have and you're I don't know. I guess you could, morally search in your heart and figure out what you decide that is. But yeah, really, really helpful, and it makes makes your profit margins rise, because if the demand goes up for the product you're selling, the more you have supplies, the more of you could sell. So yeah, okay. On our next tip. Next tip would have to be storing money. As you can see, I am carrying a small nation's fortune on my body. If I was to get in an altercation with cops or guys with balaclavas, I just did. There's a man cowering in the bushes from the fear of my crowbar. I don't know if we can find it. There he is. See? Those guys that are often very terrifying.
Please don't kill me.
Just for the inconvenience.
Oh God! Oh.
Okay. Don't mind the little bit of what you'd call murder. So yeah. So it's usually often there's groups of 3 of them out there in the wilderness, and if you die or get beaten up, whatever you want to call it, they will take all your money. They don't usually take your drugs, but they'll take all your money. It'll be bad. You'll be devastated. So yeah, store your money. Make sure you store that mad money. It's always way better to have that money sitting safely in a bank than in a bandit's or a police officer's pocket or a military man. So yeah, make sure you store your money. On to our next tip. Okay, so our next tip has to do with basically bases. That's 2 B words. Weird. So strategic base placement is very key to having a successful operation. Always striving to have your bases near water where they can be easily accessed, or roads, which you can use with cars and buses if there's a bus thing nearby. For starter bases, I love this one, and there's also one way over here, right here, which I believe most people get. But there are other places you can get houses. Like there's one in up here. There's one over here, but making sure I know it is kind of funny because these are literally islands, so it's kind of hard to not be near water, but there are some base options that are like in the middle of the city that are kind of hard to get to, especially when you're doing stuff that, like when you're growing stuff that needs supplies, like fertilizer or stuff, where it's harder to get a lot of it when you're on the open ocean. you can very quickly get to distributors quite quickly. So it's very helpful to have bases placed throughout the land strategically. There are definitely some that are bad purchases just outright. Like there's an apartment a little ways up that I've seen on one of the other islands that's just really bad. Or trying to have good placement for facilities. I mean, there are some that are just you just have to buy because you need them for like distributors, but there's a lot. There's really good choices you can make for base. Okay, our next tip is something that they didn't add for a while, which many players that maybe haven't picked up the game or haven't played in a while wouldn't know, is you used to only be able to park your boats on docks. And also there wasn't, you could, not all docks you could park your boat on. There still are a few docks in the other regions of the map that you can't park on. It sounds weird. Dock your boat at. But now you can dock your boat anywhere. You can, any shore that that little icon, let me show you, that this little square icon can be observed upon. You can observed upon. What such weird words. Any shore that your boat has its little anchor right here, ready? Boop. You can park your boat. It is absolutely amazing. It's really cool they added the feature. It's kind of weird that it wasn't there. I mean, it's a small game studio, so it's okay, you know, it takes time to do this. But yeah, really helpful tip, thing that I did not realize until I started playing again, and you know, it's absolutely amazing. Okay, on to our next tip. Another really important tip to remember is say hi to the cows. They're just out here chilling, you know. They want some company. They're absolutely adorable. They look fluffy. They're just flicking their tails and living life. So don't forget, say hi to the cows, like and subscribe, and we'll get into it, you know. My next piece of advice has to do with customers. So as you can see here, these are all in the red. These guys are all going to be super frustrated. I'm going to get a little bit of a negative reputation for accepting them. We'll see it here in a second. See, we got three. So you definitely want to try and if you're going to accept the job, you definitely want to accept it sooner, because you get a way bigger reputation hit if you don't accept it in a reasonable time. You just don't accept it at all. So you definitely, if you're going to take it, you want to accept it early on. I know you can get sometimes distracted, especially if you're doing your distributors, where you have to go to, you know, other parts of the whole map to get them with their goods. But definitely good to try and be vigilant on that, and understand that if you don't have a good distribution network set up where you're at, you're going to have to be waiting on people individually. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out for that. But also, the cool thing is if you do what I just did and accept them all, you get them all the next hour. I mean, if you're not near the place, it's not cool. So yeah, that's also kind of a little bonus one. It's always good to, you know, get them all done in one shot, especially if you're in the area like I am. But yeah, stay vigilant on when you're getting inquiries about product, and make sure you do it in a timely manner so you don't lose reputation, because reputation comes and goes quickly, and it's always bad to drop by a lot, but you have to mess up a lot of orders, or not even mess up, you just have to not answer a lot of orders or do a lot of breaking and entering to buildings you probably shouldn't be in. I mean, what am I even saying? You can totally be in those buildings. This game's all about rule breaking. But yeah, okay, on to our next tip. Our next tip is another really useful one, which is public transport. So you can use bus tickets to get around the map. They are fairly cheap and very helpful. I did not realize this until late game. Once you hit late game, you should have vehicles unlocked, so public transport won't be as necessary. And there are a few limiting factors, like if you haven't unlocked some places, you won't be able to use it. But really the biggest limiting factor is bridges, and that's not that big of a deal, and it gets you there pretty quick. Like there's buses all over this island. There isn't any on this smaller one down here, but there's tons of bus stops. They do run to a certain hour when then they stop it, but tell you what, getting on a bus and busing from one part to the other is much quicker than running there and then having the chance of running into other people, because you don't get like searched by like guards or anything, like cops or bandits or whatever. You don't have to worry about losing all your money to a fight gone wrong or being patted down by a police officer. And the bigger cities have them. Super nice, absolutely amazing. You can really get from one end of the map to the other pretty quickly. If you have everything unlocked. I don't have the bridge built yet. I have the money, just haven't put it into it yet. Once I do that, I'll have more access to places with the bus. So yeah, definitely try to use the bus whenever you can early game, because it will really help. I didn't realize how much it helped until I was already done and had a vehicle, but until you get a vehicle, the bus is an awesome thing to use. Okay, on to our next tip. Our next thing isn't elaborated very well in the story. There's a little one-liner, I think, that you get from like your internal thoughts. I don't know, the weird guy talking in your head. Snakes. Oh my god. If you get bit by 2 of them, you will be extremely blurry and your stamina will go down. It is horrible. If you get bit by 3, I think you're dead. I haven't been bitten by 3. I've been bitten multiple times, usually only twice. And they're all over the place. They're not only here in Slaves Bay, but they're up here in the wilderness. They're over here. Really, anywhere where there's bushes, you have a chance of getting bit by a snake. Hear that? I'm gonna get bit by... you can't even see them. Like, you don't see them slithering around on the ground. That is the worst part about this, is they're just invisible, horrible, horrible things. I feel like there's an Indiana Jones reference I could make here. But yeah, watch out for bushes. If you're in bushes, try to be out of them fast. There's even water snakes. I was bit in the water one time. For the love of God, do not, mess around with the snakes, because they are really annoying. And when your stamina's halved and you're really all blurry and you can't really do much and your guy's all groggy and you're having a hard time, because when you sprint, if you're bitten and you sprint, the bar goes up quicker, like you're the venom, sprinting through your body at the same pace. I don't know. It's weird. It's horrible. Watch out for snakes. Be aware. I warned you. On to our next thing. Our next tip is essentially recycling. When you're cooking up all the things that you're cooking up, you'll get a lot of either water jugs or chemical bottles that you can very easily come to your local convenience store and recycle for money. A little bit of extra money never hurt anybody, and, perfect. It's, what, $28,000 more than you had before? I mean, kind of, sometimes might pay for some of the chemicals. I mean, I can't imagine it's going to pay for all of the invested going on here. Enough. Oh, no, I don't have enough space. Okay, just there. So... bam, bam, max. So a little bit extra money,
I'm sure you'll find something for yourself.
Perfect. Why can't I pick this up?
Hello. Now what do you need?
There we go. But yeah, every little extra, helps. Yeah. Be green, recycle. And you can do that at nearly any of the gas stations around the entire map, and there's tons and tons of gas stations. So yeah. Okay, on our next step. Another awesome piece of advice is always be checking billboards. You can get all kinds of crazy stuff. You can get missions, you can get new staff, you can get cats, you can get dogs, you can get interesting inquiries about specific orders. Always be checking billboards. You can get an army of cats. It's worth it. I have 3 cats and it's awesome. So definitely be checking billboards, because they can give you a lot of cool stuff and a lot of stuff you probably would miss if you didn't click on them. And it's super easy and they're all over the place.
We'll get to that.
Okay, on our next tip. Okay, I hope some of those tips and tricks you found useful, maybe helpful, possibly, If you liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't, maybe leave a dislike and a comment on why you didn't like it. If you want me to go in depth on anything that I've said in this video, or maybe mechanics in the game that you don't quite understand, throw it in the comments. I'm always willing to go make videos if you guys request. If there's a game you would like a video done on, throw it in the comments. I really hope you guys have an awesome day, and I really appreciate you watching. Have a good one.